Alright guys, you gotta bear with the noise just a little bit so I can kind of give you just an idea of what we're doing. So what we're doing, you can't see it. The tractor's over here and I'm bringing in our compost from outside. It's already done ready. We're gonna throw some here in the machine. Now everything that comes out of this section, 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch, is gonna be bedding for these grow out beds. Let me show you why. So we have 36 bins over here on the wall that we run for what we call grow out bins or cell bins. I'll take these gray totes. These come from Sam's, and I don't know how big that is. I'll run 2 of these in there. I'm gonna do a little bit more. Now this material, let me turn this off. This material is super soft, super fine. It is some of the best garden soil if you want to go ahead and put it straight in your garden that you got. The key and the thing that we figured out is when you give them the super size or super small pre-digestible material, they can, they don't have big strong muscles. They can move through this relatively easy. And we will only put 1 pound in here. This thing will hold roughly 2.5 pounds by your square footage if you do 12 by 12 by 1,000. So we put 1 pound in there. Now, we put food in there and we keep these beds really, really wet. They go on the wall. Now, this bin may sit there for a week, maybe 2 weeks. They're usually not there that long, but let's say it sit there 2 weeks. You've got 1,000 worms in there, roughly, that are breeding because they don't think there's enough worms in their population. So now it's time to sell these worms. So I pull this off, I run this through the trommel, pull the worms out. That 1 pound in 2 weeks is turned usually into 1.25 pounds or 2 pounds easy. They got plenty of food. We do feed our worm chow, but they have plenty of bedding, plenty of food. Now we've gained worms. We've gained, say 1/2 pound. I'll send out 1.25 pounds, 1.8 pounds, something like that to the customer. But now we've gained this extra worms, we can throw in one of these other bins over here. Now, once you've run this bin through your trommel, you're gonna have your castings up front. And again, you can do this with hand sifters. You don't have to have a trommel to do this. Like Captain Matt hand sifter, the Worm Gear turbo sifter, you can do the same thing. We can just do everything at once with this guy. Now here's the key. We take the castings, we put them in our casting bin, they're ready to be sold. What comes out down here in your cocoon bin will be full of cocoons and little baby worms that didn't make it. These guys go in one of these IBC totes. If I've got a tote that maybe I got 2 totes that are empty, I will load these in there with the bedding. Now they got a jump start. If I got a bed over here that maybe it needs a little more help, throw those cocoons in there and they're good to go. Now what comes out the end, let me grab this. We're not even using the binder. This would be what your leftovers are in your tray if you're running a trommel. You're running a hand sifter. You're gonna get big pieces. You're gonna get leaves, sticks, twigs, big chunky parts. Let me move you over here. Just bear with me. I got nobody to run my recording today. All right. All right, so this bin here, I'm loading it up. I'm gonna get this about 3 inches thick. And this is that big, thick, chunky stuff. This is a really good time if you want to pull rocks out. You can throw them out there. Pretty soon we'll have a gravel floor in here. If you got grandkids, it's always a really good thing to load them up. You can give them a cup, have them dig through there. They fill up a cup, give them $1. That works for our little grandkids. They'll tell every I think they'll go outside and pick up rocks too. But you got the big chunks. But I'll fill this about that deep. And then whenever this is full, I'll throw about a 1/2 cup of food on here. I'll water it down really, really good. And then I'll add 6 pounds of worms and put it on the board. Let me move this other side over here real quick. But I'll run several tractor loads or bucket loads through there, and I can load up each one of these bins. The good part is, as I'm building these bins, again, we've got 30 of them out there. In the afternoons, I can get home, I can start taking them apart, rebuild them to the shape that I want, cut them, clean them. It's a pain in the butt because they had grease in them and they stink. We slowly getting them in here. But this will have several inches, 3 or 4 inches of compost in here. Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Again, there's chunky pieces in here. The good part about that is we leave the sticks in there. Leave them in there. They're going to help the fungal in there, or the fungi. Now, when it's time to run this bin in 3 months, we'll run this entire bin through our trommel. You could do this on your hand sifter though. All the overs that come out the end and the bins that would be your 1/4 inch cocoons will go right back in here. We're basically seeding this bed with fresh, with the original castings or the original bacteria. And then it's got a super jump start. We'll put more material just like this on top. Out of the worms that come out of this originally, we'll put another original 6 pounds back in here. And then we can sell the rest. The good part about this is if you've been breeding for a while and you're breeding in something like this and you put 1 pound of worms in there, and then you pull your cocoons and you put 1 pound of worms, and you keep putting that pound of worms. Next thing you know, you're like 3/4 of a pound, or maybe down to 1/2 a pound. You're trying to figure out what happened. Some of them are naturally going to die because of age. Some of them are going to get through the screens, and you're going to be shipping them off air in your castings or whatever, and you lose your worms, or you lose your breeding stock. But that breeding stock, the longer you have it, the older the worms get. With ours, with the way we're doing it, we'll have 6 pounds in 3 months. Let's say we have 12 pounds. We run everything through there. We pull 6 pounds out and put it back in here. Not all of that 6 pounds will be the original worms. That's the best part about it. We'll have a new fresh batch, or some of the new fresh batch of worms going in here. Plus all the cocoons from the old bin. So now it's got a super jump start, and it's going to start doing its thing. That is how we're running these IBC totes. As you can see, we've cut them, got them up to size. A lot of people run them full deep. I don't want to do that. I don't want to bend over. I'm not doing all that. I'm running these about 12 inches deep. I've talked to several people and they're running them like that, or they're running some sort of a bed that's about 12 inches deep. These work good because I don't have to bend over. I can do what I got to do right here. I can reach more than halfway across the bed, and I have all the room up underneath these bins if I want to cut some of them bars out and put, some breeding racks or what have you like that. But this right here, this system right here is working really, really good for us. We've also noticed with moving to a larger bin, worms are kind of like goldfish. Some of you may have had a goldfish when you was a kid, or maybe you still got them. You put them in a small bowl, they stay small. You take that small goldfish and you put it in a 50-gallon aquarium. In a year, you got big old fish. We got a koi pond out here. It's like a big wishing well that we bought little feeder fish from the pet store for like 14 cents a piece. Them things are eating size now after like 2 years. I'm not going to eat them, but we have eaten size fish. They look like koi. The worms will do the same thing. We've noticed if you have a minimum amount, or if you have a big area, they seem to grow bigger. It's almost like you're not stunting their growth. It's really a heavy thing with Euros. Also, they're breeding. Over here, I was looking at these earlier. They're just, it's a sexapalooza in there with these worms. This system right here is going to work really, really good for us. But we will keep you updated. This is how we're running. I'm running several buckets so I can get the rest of these full. And we can get some more worms from the other inside out here. They're happy where they're at now, but I want them happier in here. All right, man, until next time, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments, and we answer just about everything that anybody asks. So, until next time, have a good one.